Well, nice talking to you for the very first time. I'm a huge fan of your work. Slumdog Millionaire, one of my favorites of all time. What do you think intrigues us the most about telling the story of Steve Jobs?
I think probably the myth. You know, there's so many stories about him. There's so much gossip and innuendo and kind of myth and truth about him out there. You know, the mix of stuff about that. And it hasn't deceased. It hasn't kind of diminished since he passed away. And I think that's probably because of the influence he's had on our lives. He revolutionised about half a dozen industries, but obviously the thing we feel most is the tactile thing of the phone, I guess, that he's given us. And he did revolutionise the way we communicate. And it's like Sorkin, who wrote this, his other script, The Social Network, was about Zuckerberg. Again, who these people lay the path for how we're going to communicate, basically, just literally talk to each other. And when you look at something that's riveting Europe at the moment, which is the refugee crisis out of Syria and Turkey, a lot of that's happening because people have communication. They absolutely can communicate. Now, everybody's got that power. You know, that instant information and instant communication with everyone. There's no barriers anymore. And governments try and put up barriers. Forget it, because he's designed stuff, and Zuckerberg and all these people, that allow you to just kind of like reach out beyond government. So how are you going to analyse these people? And so artists, movies, paintings, books, whatever, need to deal with these people because there's good stuff and there's not so good stuff as well.
That is an awesome answer. I had, putting that perspective, the real current events that are going on. I love that. Steve Jobs is such an iconic figure. Everybody seems to know so much about him, reading books and articles, and of course we have video of him. But was there any pressure for you to make sure, working with such an iconic figure?
No, I kind of like, you can get worried about stuff like that, but it isn't a biopic. It's a very, very brilliant way of approaching an impossible subject, which is a super famous man about whom everybody has very, very divided opinions. And what the script is brilliant at is it chooses three moments in time, but it puts a kind of laser-like light on them and says, this is, and you find out as much about him as you're going to find out as you would in a traditional cradle-to-grave biopic, I think, which inevitably skims. This is really, it goes really quite deep about him, and especially about, and it doesn't, his achievements are extraordinary, but it's also the cost to other people that was involved in those achievements is, so you see the good stuff and the bad stuff as well.
Am I right that there's like a feel to the movie, like it changes? There's a change of the feel.
Yeah.
Did I pick up on that correct?
Yeah, you're right. So there's 3 periods: 1984, 88, and 98, and we shot the first on 16mm. Old 16mm footage. It's amazing because it's kind of homemade. It sort of feels, and that's what he was like at the time, because he was just trying to establish himself, and he's like a punk rebel trying to kind of force IBM, force his way onto the picture, which is dominated by IBM. So it felt right for that. It's rough made. And then the second part is 35, which is much more beautiful and kind of noirish, colour noirish, because he has a kind of subterranean river of intention that's not perceivable at first. It's actually revenge, you find out. And the fluidity and liquidity of 35 made that perfect for that. And then you go to the digital world and kind of endless pixels and infinity and beyond, as somebody else once said. And that's that world. And so we shot on the Alexa there. So you sense that movement in the thing towards this kind of clean, pristine world of communication that he's set up for us.